The Galactic Council's Ultimatum. In the year 20,753, Earth was a bustling world full of life and progress. Humans had achieved great advancements in technology and space travel. They had begun to explore and even colonize distant planets. Everything seemed to be going well for Earth and its people. But one day, a new threat emerged from the depths of space. The Galactic Council, a powerful and ancient organization that governed many star systems, sent a chilling message to Earth. The message was clear and harsh. Earth must submit to their rule or face total destruction. The Galactic Council demanded that humanity surrender its sovereignty and become a part of their empire. The message was broadcasted across all communication channels. It was a demand for immediate submission, or the Council would unleash their vast and formidable forces upon Earth. The Galactic Council was known for its strict rule and ruthless enforcement. Their ships were some of the most advanced in the galaxy, and their armies were feared by many. When Earth's leaders received this ultimatum, they were stunned. The news spread quickly, and panic began to set in. The Council's message was not just a threat. It was an insult to Earth's pride and independence. The people of Earth had worked hard to build their civilizations and explore the stars. To have a distant authority demand their surrender was more than they could accept. In the heart of the United Earth government, an emergency meeting was called. Leaders from various sectors of society, including military commanders, scientists, and diplomats, gathered in a secure facility. The atmosphere was tense as they discussed the implications of the Galactic Council's demands. General Martin, the head of Earth's defense forces, spoke first. "We've faced challenges before, but nothing like this. The Galactic Council is one of the most powerful entities in the galaxy. If we refuse to submit, they will not hesitate to attack us." Dr. Elena Reyes, the leading scientist and strategist, added, "We need to understand their capabilities better. We don't know what kind of weapons or technology they have. But one thing is clear, they are not underestimating us, and we shouldn't either." The room was filled with murmurs of agreement. The leaders knew they had to act quickly. The threat was serious, and every moment counted. They began to discuss possible strategies. One idea was to use Earth's hidden resources and technology that had been kept secret for years. Another idea was to rally the people and prepare for a possible conflict. As they talked, the mood shifted from panic to determination. The Galactic Council's demand had ignited a fierce resolve among the Earth's leaders. They would not let their world be humiliated and conquered without a fight. They knew that any response had to be bold and decisive. The first step was to organize a plan to strengthen Earth's defenses. Military bases were put on high alert, and scientists worked around the clock to enhance their technology. The people of Earth were also prepared for the possibility of war. They were informed of the situation and encouraged to support their leaders and forces. Despite the growing tension, there was a sense of unity among the people. The Galactic Council's arrogance had united Earth in a way that nothing else had. From every corner of the globe, humans began to rally around their leaders and military. They were determined to protect their world and their freedom. As days passed, the Galactic Council waited for Earth's response. They were confident that their demands would be met, but they had underestimated the strength and spirit of humanity. The Council's message had not only provoked fear, but also a strong will to fight back. The stage was set for a confrontation that would test the limits of both sides. The Galactic Council had made a grave mistake by underestimating Earth's resolve. The people of Earth were ready to defend their home and show the galaxy that they would not be easily defeated. And so the first chapter of this epic struggle began. The Galactic Council's ultimatum had sparked a fire in humanity's heart. Earth's leaders and people were prepared to face whatever came next. They would not back down, and they would fight to protect their world from the looming threat of the Galactic Council. Earth's desperation and plan. As the shock of the Galactic Council's ultimatum settled in, Earth faced a dire situation. The Council's demand for submission had shaken the planet to its core. Every leader, scientist, and ordinary citizen knew that their future was at stake. The Council was a formidable enemy, and their threats were not to be taken lightly. The United Earth government quickly realized that they needed a plan. They couldn't simply accept the Council's demands or risk total annihilation. In secret meetings held deep underground, away from prying eyes, Earth's top leaders and strategists gathered to devise a strategy. They knew that this was a fight for their very existence. General Martin, who had been a key figure in the initial meetings, took charge of the planning sessions. He understood the gravity of the situation and the need for a well-coordinated response. The military had to be ready to face one of the most advanced and ruthless forces in the galaxy. Dr. Elena Reyes, the brilliant scientist who had been working on advanced technology, was also heavily involved. She suggested that they utilize Earth's hidden resources and technologies that had been kept secret for years. Many of these technologies were outdated by current standards, but could still be effective in a surprise attack. One of the most crucial elements of the plan was to resurrect old military technology that had been abandoned in favor of newer systems. This included warships and weaponry that had been left in storage. The hope was that these old designs, though seemingly outdated, could still pack a powerful punch against the Galactic Council's forces. As the leaders worked on their plan, the people of Earth were not idle. News of the Galactic Council's demands spread rapidly, and there was an outpouring of support for the government's efforts. Citizens from all walks of life began volunteering for various roles, from support staff to technicians. The spirit of unity and determination was palpable. A special task force was assembled to oversee the restoration and upgrade of the old military technology. Engineers and technicians worked around the clock to make sure that everything was operational. The military also began training new recruits and preparing for potential conflicts. In addition to military preparations, Earth's leaders recognized the importance of information warfare. They needed to ensure that their message of resistance and determination reached not just their own people, but also the galaxy. A carefully crafted propaganda campaign was launched to boost morale and rally support. The goal was to show that humanity was not afraid and was ready to fight for its freedom. The plan also included diplomatic efforts. Earth's ambassadors were tasked with reaching out to other star systems and factions that might be sympathetic to their cause. They hoped to build alliances and gather support against the Galactic Council. Time was running out, and the pressure was immense. Every decision and action had to be precise. The Council's deadline for submission loomed closer, and Earth's leaders knew they had to act before it was too late. As the days passed, the preparations intensified. The once hidden technologies were brought back to life, and the military's readiness grew. The people of Earth stood united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The sense of purpose was strong, and the resolve to fight back against the Galactic Council was unwavering. In the heart of this preparation, there was a growing sense of hope. Despite the dire circumstances, Earth's determination and resourcefulness began to shine through. The plan was taking shape, and the stage was set for humanity to take a stand against their powerful adversary. The next steps would be critical. Earth's response to the Galactic Council's ultimatum would determine the course of the conflict. As the countdown continued, the world held its breath, ready for the moment when they would strike back and prove that they were not to be underestimated. The first attack. The day arrived when Earth was ready to make its first move against the Galactic Council. The tension was palpable as the countdown to the attack drew closer. For weeks, Earth's military had been preparing, and the old warships and weapons were finally operational. The people were on edge, filled with a mix of fear and hope. In the command center of Earth's space fleet, General Martin stood before a large holographic display. The image showed a fleet of newly restored warships, now armed and ready. The general's face was set in a determined expression. He knew that this first attack was crucial. It would set the tone for the rest of the conflict and show the Galactic Council that Earth was not going to back down. Dr. Elena Reyes, alongside other scientists and engineers, worked tirelessly to ensure that every piece of technology was functioning perfectly. The restored warships were equipped with upgraded systems and new weapons that had been kept secret until now. The goal was to strike quickly and decisively, catching the Galactic Council off guard. As the attack fleet prepared to launch, the command center was a hive of activity. Officers and crew members moved with precision, checking and rechecking their systems. The atmosphere was intense but focused. Everyone knew what was at stake, and their determination was evident in their actions. The fleet's lead ship, the U.S. Vanguard, was the centerpiece of this operation. It was one of the most powerful ships from the old era, now upgraded with the latest technology. The U.S. Vanguard was equipped with high-energy plasma cannons and advanced shielding systems. Its mission was to lead the assault and deliver the first blow to the Galactic Council's forces. At the appointed hour, the fleet set course for the nearest Galactic Council outpost. The journey through space was tense, with every crew member on high alert. The Council's defenses were formidable, but Earth's fleet was determined to make an impact. As they approached the outpost, the fleet cloaked itself to avoid detection. The stealth technology, although old, was still effective in masking their presence. The command center's screens showed the outpost's defenses and the positions of the Council's ships. General Martin and his team closely monitored the situation, ready to act at a moment's notice. When the moment came, the order was given. The fleet's cloaking was deactivated, and the ships emerged from their hidden position. The Galactic Council's outpost was caught by surprise. Alarms blared, and the Council's ships scrambled to respond, but the attack was already underway. The U.S. Vanguard led the charge, its plasma cannons firing with deadly accuracy. The beams of energy cut through the Council's defenses, causing massive explosions and chaos. The other ships in the fleet followed suit, targeting key structures and disabling enemy vessels. The battle was fierce, with Earth's forces showing remarkable skill and precision. The Galactic Council's ships were advanced, but Earth's fleet had the advantage of surprise and determination. The Council's forces struggled to mount an effective defense as the Earth fleet pressed their advantage. In the midst of the battle, the Galactic Council's command ship, the CSS Dominator, became the focal point of the conflict. The U.S. Vanguard locked onto the command ship, aiming to deliver a decisive blow. The plasma cannons fired, and the impact was devastating. The CSS Dominator was heavily damaged, and its ability to coordinate the defense was severely compromised. As the attack continued, the Galactic Council's outpost was overwhelmed. The once strong defenses crumbled under the relentless assault from Earth's fleet. The outpost's structures were in ruins, and the Council's forces began to retreat. The first attack was a resounding success. Earth's fleet had achieved their goal of making a strong statement and demonstrating their capability. The Galactic Council was stunned by the ferocity and effectiveness of the attack. For the first time, they saw that Earth was not the weak, helpless planet they had expected. Back on Earth, the news of the successful attack spread quickly. People celebrated the victory with a mix of relief and pride. The battle had shown that they could stand up to the Galactic Council and fight for their freedom. General Martin and Dr. Elena Reyes received praise for their leadership and preparation. The success of the first attack was a crucial step in the conflict, and it set the stage for the next phase of the war. The Galactic Council had been given a clear message. Earth was not to be underestimated. The stage was now set for the continuing struggle. Earth's forces prepared for the challenges ahead, knowing that the conflict was far from over. But the first attack had given them hope and the determination to continue fighting for their future. The Council's reaction. The aftermath of Earth's surprise attack left the Galactic Council in a state of chaos. The once untouchable authority was now reeling from the unexpected and devastating blow. The attack on their outpost had shattered their confidence and exposed vulnerabilities they had not anticipated. Inside the Galactic Council's main headquarters, the atmosphere was tense and fraught with anxiety. Council leaders from various star systems gathered in a large, dimly lit chamber. Holographic displays showed live feeds of the damage caused by Earth's fleet and the retreat of their forces. Supreme Leader Zarek, the head of the Galactic Council, stood at the center of the room, his face a mask of frustration and concern. His deep voice echoed as he addressed the assembled leaders. "We underestimated Earth's capabilities. Their attack was more powerful than we anticipated. We cannot allow this to go unanswered." The Council's military advisor, General Lyria, stepped forward. Her expression was stern, and her eyes betrayed a hint of worry. "Our initial response was chaotic. We failed to react quickly enough. The Earth fleet's surprise tactics and outdated technology caught us off guard. We need to reassess our strategy immediately." As the leaders discussed their response, the Council's communication channels were flooded with reports from various sectors. The once unbreakable aura of invincibility surrounding the Galactic Council had been shattered. The outpost's destruction was a severe blow to their image and authority. The Galactic Council's public relations team scrambled to manage the fallout. They worked to control the narrative and reassure the galaxy that the Council was still in control. However, the damage had already been done. The attack had not only disrupted their operations, but had also spread fear among their allies and subjects. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Earth's forces were regrouping and preparing for the next phase of their campaign. The initial victory had boosted morale and solidified their resolve. The success of the first attack had shown them that they could stand up to the Galactic Council and win. Back at the Galactic Council's headquarters, the mood was grim. The leaders understood that they needed a decisive response to regain their position and deter further attacks. They convened an emergency session to plan their counterstrike. General Lyria presented a new strategy to the Council. "We must act quickly to prevent further damage. Our first priority should be to retake the outpost and secure our remaining positions. We also need to launch a counter-offensive to weaken Earth's fleet and reduce their ability to strike again." Supreme Leader Zarek nodded in agreement. "We will deploy additional forces and use our most advanced technology. This will not be just a defensive maneuver. We will show Earth that their victory was a fleeting success and that the Galactic Council remains the dominant power." The Council's decision was swift. They ordered the mobilization of their elite forces and prepared a series of retaliatory strikes against Earth's military positions. Their plan was to hit hard and fast, aiming to cripple Earth's ability to continue the fight. As the Galactic Council prepared their counterattack, Earth's leaders were not idle. They continued to monitor the Council's movements and adjust their own strategies. The success of their initial attack had given them confidence, but they knew that the real challenge was still ahead. The Council's reaction was a clear sign that they took Earth's resistance seriously. Their response would likely be fierce and determined. Both sides were now locked in a high-stakes game of strategy and combat. The Galactic Council's counteroffensive would soon test Earth's ability to defend itself and press forward with their campaign. The initial battle had been won, but the war was far from over. Both sides were gearing up for the next confrontation, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The stage was set for a new chapter in the conflict. Earth had made its move, and the Galactic Council had responded. The battle for freedom and dominance was far from over, and the outcome would depend on the courage, strategy, and resolve of both sides. The key victory. The Galactic Council's counteroffensive struck Earth with overwhelming force. The initial retaliation was fierce, and the skies above Earth's major cities were filled with the flash of explosions and the roar of battle. The Council's elite forces, armed with their most advanced technology, aimed to break Earth's spirit and reclaim their lost ground. Despite the onslaught, Earth's defenders remained resolute. The initial attack had bolstered their confidence, but they knew that the real test lay ahead. In the midst of the chaos, General Martin and his team were determined to find a way to turn the tide once again. In the command center, the team pored over data and strategized. They needed to respond swiftly and decisively to the Council's renewed aggression. The key to their success lay in exploiting the weaknesses they had identified in the Council's response. Dr. Elena Reyes, with her deep understanding of both Earth's technology and the Council's tactics, proposed a daring plan. We've learned that the Council relies heavily on their advanced communications network. If we can disrupt it, we could create confusion and slow their advances. General Martin listened intently. Disrupting their communications could give us a critical advantage. But we need to be precise. Any mistake could cost us dearly. The plan was set into motion. Earth's engineers and technicians worked tirelessly to develop a device capable of jamming the Galactic Council's communication channels. It was a risky move, but it was also a chance to turn the battle in their favor. As the device neared completion, the Council continued their assault, targeting key military installations and infrastructure. Cities burned, and the population was on edge. The situation was dire, but Earth's leaders knew they had to hold the line and wait for their moment. The critical moment arrived when the communication jammer was ready. The device was installed on a specially modified stealth ship designed to approach the Council's communication hub undetected. The mission was to infiltrate and deploy the jammer at the heart of the Council's network. The stealth ship, cloaked and silent, moved through the vastness of space towards its target. The Galactic Council's defenses were formidable, but the stealth technology and the element of surprise gave the Earth team a fighting chance. As they neared the communication hub, the team encountered fierce resistance. The Council's patrols were vigilant, and the stealth ship had to navigate through a web of enemy ships and defenses. But the crew was skilled and determined. They maneuvered through the hostile territory with precision. When they finally reached the communication hub, the team deployed the jammer. It was a tense moment as they set up the device and activated it. The jammer emitted a powerful signal that disrupted the Council's communications, causing chaos among their ranks. The effects were immediate and dramatic. The Council's forces, once well-coordinated and efficient, were now scrambling. Orders were delayed, and confusion spread across their fleet. The disruption created a critical window of opportunity for Earth's forces. General Martin seized the moment. With the Council's communications in disarray, Earth's fleet launched a coordinated counteroffensive. The element of surprise was back on their side, and they pressed the attack with renewed vigor. The battle that followed was intense and fierce. Earth's forces, fueled by the advantage of the communication disruption, fought with incredible determination. The Galactic Council's ships, unable to effectively coordinate their defenses, were pushed back. In a decisive clash, Earth's fleet managed to secure a key victory. The Council's forces were forced to retreat from their positions, and Earth's defenders reclaimed several critical installations. The battle marked a turning point in the conflict. Back on Earth, the news of the key victory was met with jubilation. The people celebrated the successful counteroffensive and the strategic triumph that had turned the tide in their favor. The victory was a powerful symbol of their resolve and capability. General Martin and Dr. Elena Reyes were hailed as heroes for their roles in the victory. Their leadership and strategic insights had made a significant difference in the war. The Galactic Council's defeat was a clear message that Earth was not to be underestimated. The key victory provided a much-needed boost to Earth's morale and solidified their position in the ongoing struggle. The battle had proven that they could stand up to the Galactic Council and emerge victorious. But the war was far from over, and both sides knew that more challenges lay ahead. With renewed confidence, Earth's leaders prepared for the next phase of the conflict. The key victory had shifted the balance of power, but the fight for freedom and dominance was still unfolding. Humanity's comeback. The key victory had given Earth's forces a much-needed boost. The Galactic Council's defeat was a turning point, but the battle for survival was far from over. With the Council's forces temporarily disoriented, Earth's leaders seized the opportunity to strengthen their position and prepare for a larger comeback. In the aftermath of their recent success, the mood on Earth was a mix of optimism and determination. The population, once gripped by fear, was now filled with renewed hope. The victory had proven that Earth's military could challenge the might of the Galactic Council and emerge victorious. The next step was to build on this success and push forward with their plans. General Martin and Dr. Elena Reyes were at the heart of the new strategy. They knew that the Galactic Council would not remain passive for long. The Council would regroup and rearm, and Earth needed to be ready for the next wave of attacks. In the command center, General Martin reviewed the updated battle plans. The recent victory had provided crucial intelligence on the Council's weaknesses and strategies. Armed with this information, Earth's forces could devise a plan to exploit these vulnerabilities. Dr. Elena Reyes worked on improving Earth's technology and defenses. The success of their previous mission had given them confidence, and they were determined to enhance their capabilities even further. New weapons were developed, and existing systems were upgraded to ensure Earth's fleet remained formidable. One of the key elements of the comeback plan was to launch a series of targeted strikes against the Galactic Council's remaining strongholds. The goal was to disrupt their ability to launch coordinated attacks and weaken their overall military presence. The strategy was aggressive, but it was also calculated to capitalize on their recent successes. The first phase of the comeback involved hitting strategic targets across several key systems. Earth's fleet, now more experienced and confident, executed the plan with precision. The attacks were swift and devastating, designed to cripple the Council's supply lines and communications. The Galactic Council, still reeling from their previous defeat, struggled to mount an effective defense. The surprise and intensity of Earth's new offensive caught them off guard. The Council's forces were stretched thin, and their ability to respond was compromised. As Earth's fleet continued their campaign, the tide of the war began to shift. The Galactic Council's once formidable presence was being eroded. Earth's forces pressed their advantage, securing important victories and gaining control over critical territories. The Council's leaders, faced with mounting losses, were forced to reassess their strategy. The pressure from Earth's relentless attacks was taking a toll on their morale and resources. Supreme Leader Zarek and his advisors scrambled to find a solution to the escalating crisis. Back on Earth, the sense of accomplishment and determination was palpable. The successful comeback had reinvigorated the population and military alike. The recent victories were celebrated, but there was no time for complacency. Earth's leaders knew that the conflict was far from over, and they remained focused on their goals. General Martin and Dr. Elena Reyes continued to lead their teams with unwavering resolve. They understood that the comeback was just one step in a larger struggle. The war was still ongoing, and the Galactic Council was not finished yet. In the midst of their preparations, Earth's forces remained vigilant. They knew that the Galactic Council would regroup and retaliate. The comeback had given them a significant edge, but they were prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. The story of humanity's comeback was one of resilience and determination. The fight for survival and freedom was far from over, but Earth's forces had shown that they were a formidable opponent. The war was now a battle of wills, and both sides were committed to their cause. As the conflict continued, Earth's leaders remained focused on their objectives. The comeback had demonstrated their strength and resolve, but they knew that victory would require continued effort and perseverance. The struggle for dominance and survival was ongoing, and the outcome remained uncertain. The stage was set for the next chapter in the epic struggle. Humanity's comeback had set a new tone in the conflict, and the battle for the galaxy was far from over. Earth's forces were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, and their determination to prevail remained unshaken. The Council's last resort. As Earth's comeback continued to shift the balance of power, the Galactic Council faced mounting pressure. Their once unshakable grip on the galaxy was weakening, and their losses were becoming harder to ignore. The Council's leaders knew they had to act decisively to turn the tide or face potential defeat. Supreme Leader Zarek called an emergency meeting with the Council's top advisors. The atmosphere in the chamber was tense, and the air was thick with desperation. The Council's losses had been substantial, and their current strategies were failing to stop Earth's relentless advance. "We cannot afford any more setbacks," Zarek said, his voice laced with frustration. Our resources are dwindling, and our forces are stretched thin. We need a solution, and we need it now." General Lyria, the Council's military advisor, stepped forward with a grim expression. "We have one option left, but it is risky. We can deploy a prototype weapon that has the potential to turn the war in our favor. However, it comes with significant dangers." Zarek's eyes narrowed. "Explain." The general began to outline the details of the last resort weapon. It was a powerful experimental device capable of causing massive destruction. The weapon was designed to disrupt entire planetary systems, making it a potential game-changer. But its effects were unpredictable, and its use could have unintended consequences. This weapon, General Lyria continued, could potentially annihilate key areas of Earth's defenses and disrupt their fleet. However, it is not fully tested. We risk severe collateral damage and may even jeopardize our own forces if it fails. The room fell silent as the Council's leaders weighed their options. The weapon represented a desperate gamble, but with their current situation growing dire, it seemed like the only choice. After a tense pause, Zarek made his decision. "Prepare the weapon for deployment. We have no other viable alternatives. We must act quickly before Earth's forces can consolidate their gains further." The Council's engineering teams worked around the clock to finalize the prototype. The weapon was mounted on a massive transport ship and readied for launch. The stakes were incredibly high, and the pressure was immense. As the weapon neared its target, the Council's forces launched a coordinated diversionary attack on Earth's remaining strongholds. The goal was to draw Earth's attention away from the approaching threat and buy time for the weapon's deployment. The diversion was partially successful. Earth's defenses were stretched as they responded to the simultaneous assaults. However, General Martin and his team remained vigilant. They knew that the Council would not give up easily and anticipated that something significant was coming. When the weapon was finally deployed, it triggered a massive energy surge. The experimental device unleashed a wave of destructive power aimed at key locations on Earth. The resulting shockwave spread through the targeted areas, causing widespread devastation. The impact was immediate and catastrophic. Major military installations and key infrastructure were destroyed in an instant. The blast disrupted Earth's communications and temporarily crippled their defensive capabilities. It was a brutal reminder of the Council's remaining strength. On Earth, the sudden and severe impact of the weapon sent shockwaves through the command center. The destruction was overwhelming, and the scale of the damage was unprecedented. General Martin and Dr. Elena Reyes quickly assessed the situation and worked to stabilize their defenses. Despite the massive setback, Earth's forces remained determined. They quickly regrouped and began repairing the damage as best as they could. The weapon's deployment had caused significant destruction, but it had not broken their spirit. Back at the Galactic Council's headquarters, there was a mix of satisfaction and unease. The weapon had achieved its intended effect, but the Council leaders were aware of the long-term consequences. The use of such a powerful device had changed the nature of the conflict, and the risks were far from over. Supreme Leader Zarek knew that while the weapon had given them a temporary advantage, the war was far from decided. Earth's resilience and adaptability were proving to be formidable obstacles. The Council would need to continue their efforts and navigate the aftermath of the weapon's deployment. The stage was set for the next phase of the conflict. The Council's last resort had altered the landscape of the war, but it had also heightened the stakes. Both sides were now faced with new challenges and uncertainties as the battle for the galaxy continued. The final battle. The war between Earth and the Galactic Council had reached its climax. After the Council's desperate last resort weapon caused severe damage, both sides prepared for the final confrontation. The stakes were higher than ever, and the outcome of this battle would determine the future of the galaxy. On Earth, General Martin and Dr. Elena Reyes rallied their forces for the ultimate showdown. Despite the recent devastation, they were resolute. The losses had been heavy, but the spirit of resistance remained unbroken. Earth's fleet was regrouped, and its defenses were fortified, ready to face the Council's final assault. The Galactic Council, aware of Earth's determination, mobilized their remaining forces for a decisive strike. Supreme Leader Zarek knew that this was the last chance to crush Earth's resistance and secure their dominance. The Council's fleet, though battered, was assembled for one final push. The stage was set for the epic clash. Earth's forces deployed a layered defense strategy, placing emphasis on protecting their key installations and capitalizing on their improved technology. General Martin had meticulously planned their tactics, using the lessons learned from previous battles. As the Galactic Council's fleet approached, tension filled the command centers on both sides. The final battle was about to begin, and every move would be critical. The skies above Earth were darkened by the approaching enemy ships, and the atmosphere crackled with anticipation. The battle commenced with a massive exchange of fire. The Galactic Council's fleet launched a full-scale assault, targeting Earth's defensive lines with relentless intensity. Their firepower was overwhelming, and the initial wave of attacks tested Earth's resolve. But Earth's fleet was ready. The new technology and tactics developed during the war were put to the test. The defenders fought back with equal ferocity, using their advanced weaponry and strategic positioning to counter the Council's assault. The space around Earth became a chaotic battlefield, filled with explosions and the echoes of combat. Dr. Elena Reyes played a crucial role in coordinating Earth's response. She used her expertise to analyze the Council's tactics and adapt their defense strategy on the fly. Her quick thinking and technological prowess were vital in repelling the Council's advances. The battle raged on, with both sides suffering heavy losses. Earth's forces managed to hold their ground, and the Council's attack began to falter. General Martin took advantage of the Council's weakened position, ordering a counteroffensive that pushed the enemy back. In the heat of the conflict, a critical moment arrived. Earth's fleet launched a decisive offensive, targeting the Galactic Council's command ship. This ship was the heart of their operations, and destroying it could turn the tide of the battle. The attack on the command ship was a high-risk maneuver. Earth's forces engaged in a fierce dogfight, with the Council's elite fighters making their way through enemy lines. The stakes were high, and the outcome of this attack could determine the battle's result. General Martin led the charge, personally overseeing the assault on the command ship. The battle was intense, and Earth's forces fought with everything they had. The command ship was heavily defended, but the determination of Earth's fighters was unyielding. Finally, after a grueling struggle, Earth's fleet succeeded in breaching the command ship's defenses. The critical strike was delivered, and the command ship was engulfed in a massive explosion. The loss of their command center dealt a severe blow to the Galactic Council's coordination and morale. As the command ship was destroyed, the Galactic Council's forces began to retreat. The once mighty fleet, now leaderless and disorganized, fell back in disarray. Earth's forces pressed their advantage, driving the Council's ships away from their territory. The final battle came to a close with Earth's victory. The Galactic Council's defeat was complete, and their forces were driven out. The war, which had seemed so bleak at times, had ended with Earth emerging as the victor. Back on Earth, the triumph was celebrated with relief and jubilation. The struggle had been long and arduous, but humanity's resilience and determination had prevailed. The final battle had secured their place in the galaxy and restored hope for the future. The victory marked the end of a chapter in the conflict. Earth had faced immense challenges and emerged victorious. But the journey was far from over. The galaxy was now in a new phase of reconstruction and peace, with Earth playing a central role in shaping the future. Victory and new beginnings. The final battle had ended in a decisive victory for Earth. The Galactic Council's forces were driven away, and the long and grueling conflict had come to a close. The victory brought a deep sense of relief and triumph, marking a new chapter in humanity's history. In the aftermath of the battle, Earth's leaders, including General Martin and Dr. Elena Reyes, gathered to assess the situation and plan for the future. The war had left scars, but it had also forged a stronger and more unified world. The sense of accomplishment was palpable, and the focus now shifted to rebuilding and creating a lasting peace. The immediate task was to tend to the damage caused by the conflict. Cities had been ravaged, and infrastructure was in disrepair. Earth's people, however, were determined to rebuild what had been lost. The resilience shown during the war now translated into efforts to restore their world to its former glory. Dr. Elena Reyes led the efforts to rehabilitate the technology and defense systems that had been damaged. Her team worked tirelessly to repair and upgrade the systems, ensuring that Earth would be better prepared for any future challenges. The lessons learned from the war were applied to enhance their defenses and improve their technology. General Martin, meanwhile, focused on maintaining the newfound peace. He worked closely with international leaders and military commanders to ensure that the unity forged during the war continued. The experience of working together against a common enemy had strengthened alliances and fostered a spirit of cooperation. As the rebuilding process began, Earth's citizens came together to support one another. Communities that had been divided by fear and conflict now united in their efforts to create a brighter future. The shared experience of overcoming adversity had brought them closer, and they were determined to build a world of peace and prosperity. The Galactic Council, now a shadow of its former self, retreated to their home systems. The defeat had left them weakened and disorganized, and their ability to exert control over the galaxy was severely diminished. The Council's leaders faced internal struggles and challenges as they dealt with the consequences of their defeat. In the wake of the war, new diplomatic relations were established. Earth's leaders reached out to other galactic civilizations to foster cooperation and mutual understanding. The goal was to build a network of allies and create a balanced and peaceful galactic community. The victory had also sparked a period of exploration and discovery. With the threat of the Galactic Council gone, Earth's scientists and explorers were free to venture beyond their home systems. New worlds were explored, and new opportunities for growth and collaboration emerged. For Earth, the victory was not just an end, but a new beginning. The experience had transformed humanity, shaping their future in profound ways. The scars of war were healing, and the world was moving forward with renewed hope and determination. The final victory had not only secured Earth's place in the galaxy, but had also demonstrated the strength and resilience of the human spirit. The challenges faced and overcome during the conflict had forged a new path for humanity, one marked by unity, strength, and a commitment to building a better future. As Earth entered this new era, the lessons of the war remained a guiding light. The courage and determination displayed during the conflict continued to inspire and drive humanity forward. The victory was a testament to their ability to overcome adversity and shape their destiny. The future held both opportunities and uncertainties, but Earth's people were ready to face whatever came their way. With the Galactic Council's threat behind them and a new era of exploration and diplomacy ahead, humanity was poised to make their mark on the galaxy. The story of victory and new beginnings was a reminder of the power of unity and resilience. Earth had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious, paving the way for a future filled with promise and hope. The journey was far from over, but the path forward was one of possibilities and new horizons.